All right, family. Welcome to the show. This is the Friends with Benefits podcast. I'm Justin. This is Pansy. How are you guys doing? How you doing, Pansy?
Welcome, everyone. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Happy Friday.
Yeah,
How's
happy Friday.
everybody? Oh yeah. What were you gonna say?
I said happy Friday. Time flies.
Time does fly. I hope all you guys have some plans for the weekend. I know that I do whether I like it or not, usually because of family stuff. But we've got a really cool show today. Got a special guest, and I'm gonna bring him up here in just a second. But for those of you who don't know Jeffrey Ma, he's a real estate investor, entrepreneur. He's got his own mentorship, helping new real estate entrepreneurs get into the business. We're gonna obviously, if you saw the banner for this, we're gonna be talking about personal development, habits of success. He's got a lot to say about that, but he's just got a wealth of experience, and I'm excited to have him on the show and talk about what he's doing, where he's going, how he's helping people, all of those things. So yeah, Pansy. I mean, do you have anything to add to that at all?
He's one of my local real estate friends from the
Nice.
Chicago area.
Chicago area. That's right. I forgot to mention that. Yeah.
He's some of the first people I've met from the community. So
Nice. Oh, and he's in Owners Club. So he's rocking it in Owners Club, which by the way is Pace Morby's newest I don't want to say like
we'll
elitist,
let him explain it.
but
Maybe
I'll say
he can
that
explain it better.
I will say it's not that. It's Pace Morby's newest sort of mentorship, and what it's all about is the people that are actually doing stuff, the people that are actually successful, actually, doing the thing, bring them all together and help them to help the other people in the sub two mentorship, help bring those people up, right? That's kind of the idea behind it. And also they get it's sort of like sub two was in the early days, where you get a little bit more access to pace, a little bit more direct access to pace. And but it's an amazing mentorship. Pace is a beast. If you guys don't know who Pace Morby is, go look him up. So anyways, without further ado, I'm gonna bring up Jeffrey. 1 second. Hey Jeffrey, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey,
Hey,
welcome.
Justin, Pansy. Thank you for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. I really do.
Thanks for coming on and sharing your knowledge.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I always love to give, to have that go-giver mindset, and anything we can do to provide value for the communities, for the network, for the people around us, that all for it.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
love it, man.
I
And
agree.
yeah, we really do. I mean, and it's, everybody's busy, right? Everybody's got stuff going on. We've all got, stuff that we could be doing, and one of the best things to be doing is helping other people, in my opinion. Is giving back, or helping bring other people up, and we'll get to that, right? Because I know that's one of your big things that you got going with your mentorship too. Um, for those who don't really know you or haven't heard of you, let's start there. Why don't you introduce yourself? Where do you hail from? What do you got going on? How did you start? Just wherever you want to start with that. But we'd like to hear hear about.
Awesome. No, definitely. Hey, hi guys. My name is Jeffrey Ma. I'm a real estate broker, investor, and coach here out in the city of Chicago.
Nice.
I've been in real estate since 2016, but I would say I wouldn't have the real success that I've had until for like the past 4 or 5 years, and really struggling to figure out this game of real estate.
Mhm.
Um, what piqued my interest in the very beginning, what might have also sparked it was back in 2008, our family lost our home to pre-foreclosure, and at the time knew nothing about real estate. We just let the bank take the home, and then it was just an uphill battle ever since.
Yeah.
And 2016 came a roll around, and I've always heard about real estate. I One of the first books that shifted my mind was definitely Rich Dad Poor Dad, and like, okay, cool, real estate, wealthy are putting their money into real estate. Let's take a look at this. I went to a 3-day event. If you guys don't know who Than Merrill is, Fortune Builders,
Yeah, I've heard of
they're
that.
really big, and 3-day event. I didn't even have $100 to go to the event. I actually had asked my mom, "Mom, can I borrow $100, please? What do you need bucks for?"
Yeah.
Um,
Trust me, it's worth it.
where it's worth
Yeah.
it. Go to the 3-day event, learned so much, just a wealth of knowledge. They were just teaching the simple stuff, which was wholesaling, fixing and flipping, and buy and hold. Uh, Come to realize, didn't realize it was a 3-day pitch, right? It's the getting you to the event, get you hyped up, learning, and I'm like, hey, I'm sold. I'm bought in. How can I get in? Oh, it's $50,000. I'm like, hmm.
Yeah.
I had trouble getting $100 getting to here.
Yeah. How am I going to do
How am I
this?
gonna
Yeah.
get $50,000? And
Yeah.
I ended up not joining because they were like, hey, ask your mom and dad. I was like, we just lost our house. Like we
Yeah.
don't have any money. We are struggling. We are restaurant folk. If my background originally is the restaurant business, I literally grew up in the kitchen. I literally used to sleep underneath the cash register, and that's how I grew up. But we come from just work hard family,
Yeah.
very survival mindset. Every day is almost like a battle or a fight, right? You have to figure out everything.
Yeah.
And 2016 came around, and my friend's like, "Hey, do you want to get your real estate license?" I'm like, "Ah, yes, light bulb. Here's another way to get into real estate."
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Okay, cool. How much is it?" Because like I'm like they're like. It's like, isn't it like like $500? It's like, don't worry. There's a Groupon crash course for $367 if I'm
I,
correct.
I've been given one of those too. I know
Yeah,
exactly what you mean. Yeah. Yeah.
Groupon crash course. Again, I didn't have the money. I
Yeah.
borrowed the money. I didn't borrow the money. I borrowed mom's credit card
Uh-huh.
to buy a Groupon crash course. Did my 90 hours of classes, took the test, passed, and I'm like, bam, I am in.
Nice.
I
Nice.
have my real estate license, 2016. Here we go. In my mind, I'm thinking, I work in the restaurant business. This is going to be a
Yeah.
cakewalk.
Yeah.
Nothing is harder than the restaurant business. And boy, was I wrong.
So now, and this was for the city of Chicago, for
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 state,
Illinois, right?
Illinois,
Yeah, yeah.
licensed
Okay.
Illinois.
Yeah.
And I got my license, and I didn't know anything about running, being self-employed or running an actual small business. And I thought I knew because my parents ran a small business, but later I come to find out like my parents didn't run that business. That business ran them.
Yep. Yep.
They didn't have the knowledge or expertise of how to create systems, how to grow, how to delegate. It was always, no, 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 we'll do everything,
Yep.
right? You're penny pitching every little thing. Like we're saving chopsticks to make sure we're not disposing of chopsticks, right? We're saving soy sauce packets,
Yeah.
fortune cookies,
Yeah.
things that don't even cost a penny because they were taught to save every little penny, which was that survival mindset. And going into the real estate business, the first 2 years, I didn't close a single deal.
Very
Uh,
common. Very
I
common.
I went on showings.
Mhm.
I didn't even know like
Mhm.
I had it pretty good because our the brokerage I had joined, they were giving us leads.
Yeah.
And but in my mind, I was thinking very transactional. I was like, okay, because restaurant, you come in, you order the food, you like it, either way, you pay, or you should
Mhm.
pay, right? You
Mhm.
pay, you leave. Very transactional. And I'm thinking, okay, cool. I go open the door, talk to them, get a little friendly. They like it. They sign a contract. I earn a commission.
Yeah. If only it were
If
that
only,
easy.
if
Yeah.
only it were that easy.
Yeah.
I went on showings. If you're familiar with Chicago, I was living in the city, but I was driving up north to Waukegan. I was going out
Mhm.
west past Naperville. I was going on the south side of Chicago, and I was doing this for like rental listings, any kind of buyer showing appointment, and I just didn't know.
Well, you were doing what you had to do. You're doing what you knew, right? Or
Yeah,
what you were taught is essentially, right?
yeah, just hustle, hustle, hustle,
Yeah.
and finally had my big breakthrough, which was 2018. And
Mhm.
the first deal that I closed was actually Mom's foreclosure fell off, and as a family, we were able to afford another home again. Obviously,
Nice.
most of it coming, a lot of the work and income coming from the restaurant.
And how many years was that after the
That,
foreclosure?
that was 10 years
10
after.
years. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sounds
Yeah.
about right.
Yeah, 10 years after the
Wow.
foreclosure. The My first deal took 101 days to close with my mom and dad
Wow.
because we're restaurant owners. Our taxes or our paper money
Yeah.
looks atrocious. So we don't look like we make anything.
Yeah.
And thankfully, the seller was patient and waiting for my parents to get the final clear to close, which we
hmm
finally did, which we still have the house today.
That's amazing.
Um,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wow, that was the most amount of money I've ever seen in a check. It was a little less than like $4,000, but I
Uh-huh.
had never seen four digits on a check given to me. My parents, I can't, from my parents, right? I thought like, okay, cool. Like I was literally making maybe 300 to 500 bucks a week,
Yeah. That's what I
right?
was gonna say. You were getting probably paid by the week, so you only saw like a few $100 or whatever, right?
300
Every week.
bucks here and
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But for the amount of work that you're doing, it was just, it's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that life for sure.
Then, but okay, cool. But and all, during 2018, 2019, restaurant actually started to pick up business again. Um, so I was actually taking money from the restaurant to buy Zillow leads.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Interesting.
I was paying for Zillow leads in the south side of Chicago because that's all I could afford at the moment. Um, and didn't realize how crappy those leads were and how expensive they were. But finally landed one another deal, landed a second deal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. I feel like I'm getting the hang of this. I didn't make that much money, right? 2018 was my mom's well, I only had one close that year, which was my
Yeah.
mom. 2019, okay, cool. I made what the average a realtor made, which was about like 36 grand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And for me, on top of the restaurant, I was like, okay, cool. This is coming together. I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm ready to take that next step forward. 2020 happens and shit hits the fan all over again. Right?
Yeah.
We're in the
COVID.
Chinese restaurant business too, so it's
Yeah.
like we weren't the most popular cuisine at the moment, and we had a restaurant in the city. We get hit with $50,000 in fines for not listening to the COVID mandate.
Oh no.
Mom gets
Wow.
hit with $40,000 in back rent and back taxes because she didn't know that she needed to have the concessions that the landlord promised her in writing.
Oh wow.
It was all verbal. And my mom
Mm.
Wow.
him to just, and what happened was there was two brothers. One brother got pushed out, the one that promised us concessions, and apparently the other one had no clue.
So let's start because for people who might be watching this that are new, like brand new to real estate, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
When Jeffrey's talking about concessions, he's talking about, sellers and buyers have different wants, different needs, right? When you're buying a property, right? And in this case, what was that from the buyers or from the seller side? What were
This was
their
actually a landlord-tenant situation, which
Oh, it
you
was
can
landlord tenant situation. Okay, okay.
get concessions, right? So
Yeah,
sometimes if you're a brand new tenant that's about to start a brand new business, renting a space,
yeah,
you
yeah,
can get concessions. And typically that would include free rent for a couple months as you're trying to do the build out for your business.
yeah,
Mm.
The other side of it is getting concessions in a very unexpected event, which was the pandemic, which was like a lot of landlords were giving concessions to their tenants in order to keep them, being like, hey, it's like we understand right now is super crazy.
yeah,
Business is super, super low.
yeah.
We have no dine-in. We have to specifically rely on takeout, which thankfully was kind of enough to kind of keep us afloat. But what my mom didn't know was that because she was at the end of her lease actually ended in 2019. So if you guys want to know, in commercial real estate, when you're renting out a lease,
Mhm,
every year your rent's going up, typically about 3%.
mhm.
Mm.
So if you're starting off at $1,000 a month, you can expect 1,030 and then 1,060. But
Yeah.
in this case, for us, the average rent price per square foot for at the time in that area was about $30 per square foot.
Mhm.
We have been there for 10 years. My
Wow.
mom was paying about $50 per square foot. She was almost paying double what she was supposed to pay. And because you're at the end of your lease, you're paying that amount. according to that. So they were trying to charge us $50 a square foot for this dinky little space when they were supposed to renew our lease and give us restart the negotiations.
Right.
So we had a lot of back and forth of negotiations trying to like, hey, we're not paying you 40,000, then they're threatening to evict us. I was like, okay, cool. If you want to play that game, go ahead, evict a minority Asian.
Yeah. And see what
Minority,
happens.
a minority woman business too, for that,
Yeah, yeah,
considering we just
yeah.
survived the pandemic.
I mean, that's legitimate. So, like, when I think of, and also from the standpoint of buying and selling real estate, you think of seller concessions as an example would be something like you buy the house at the price I'm asking, we'll take care of the roof, something like that, right?
Something like
They'll give
that.
you some,
Right.
right? So that's what we're talking about when we talk about concessions. So yeah, and look, these are these things that happen like this. Nobody tells you what the answers are. Like you've got to figure it out,
Mm,
right? And
mm.
and so let me ask you that, like what when these problems arose, obviously when it's with family, that's something that kind of lights a fire under you and you got to figure it out. It's an emergency, right?
Yes.
What did you do to help kind of figure it out or what helped guide you in those situations like that?
Honestly, like, that's when pure survival mode kicks in.
Yeah, yeah,
You don't have a plan B. You're
yeah,
at the point of losing the restaurants.
yeah,
At the time, 36,000 was not going to be enough to support me, my brother, my
no,
mom, and my dad.
no,
Right? We needed the restaurant business. So if the restaurant completely failed, we would have no income, and who knows what would have happened.
yeah,
And wow, it was nonstop.
yeah,
Me and my brother at the time, we were driving DoorDash just to pay for our own bills,
yeah.
and pay the minimum. We're our both our credit cards are maxed out. We're not paying down the actual principal, right?
No,
We're
you're paying interest every
we're
month.
paying
Yeah,
paying interest every month. We are pure survival mode. We're working 12 to 18-hour days nonstop, trying to figure out every little thing that we can do. I'm selling all my Xboxes, my PS5, I'm selling my bike, I'm selling my couch, I'm selling my TV just to make ends meet as we're driving DoorDash and we're working the restaurant because at the time we were like, okay, cool, we need to keep the restaurant business going, but we couldn't keep the employees, the front of house employees in front as well. Little did we know that if we went unemployed, we probably would have made more money actually. But you're just working with what you have. Parents still needed us. The restaurant I had in the city that hit with $50,000 in fines, we ended up closing the doors. That chapter of my life completely done, and we shifted everything to my mom's restaurant. Little did we know, my mom was struggling for years. She didn't.
yeah,
The
yeah.
employees were stealing money out of the cash register from her. Her service
Mm.
went down. The quality of food went down. Her whole operations
Was suffering hard.
was
Yeah,
suffering. It was just pure hard work. That's all she knew how to do.
yeah,
She
yeah.
had no standard operating procedures. It was just every day you had to wake up and figure out how to get to the end of the week.
Yeah, you and I have a very like, or I don't want to say completely similar, but similar story. My mom owns her own retail business, so she's not in the restaurant business, which I
Mhm.
would argue that the retail and the restaurant business are both very difficult businesses to be in, very competitive, slim margins, all of those things, right?
Mhm.
And same thing. My mom was early on. So the difference was when she purchased the store, she did very well her first couple of years. So she has a craft beat and craft type store, right?
Mhm.
She loves art and all that stuff. And those types of businesses typically get sold to, you know, employees or other tenants or that come in on a regular basis. They end up selling the business to somebody that's a friend or something like that. And
Mhm.
that's how she acquired the business. But first couple of years did great. She had no clue how to handle taxes, no standard operating procedures, no systems in place. And she got hit, the IRS hit her with a massive, massive tax bill for her employment taxes, right?
Mhm. Mm.
She
Oh
was
yeah.
not, I mean, she literally was not paying enough in employment taxes, and then finally the IRS just slapped her with. But ever since that happened, she had been struggling, and we had no clue. We had no clue. She didn't talk to us about it or anything, right? We
Mhm.
just assumed everything was okay.
Yeah, same
Yeah,
thing.
but
And um, just imagine when I tell people like, oh, people think like you run a successful business. Not like we had a business that made ends meet,
yeah,
but successful to me is when you don't have to operate 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Hell, success is me if you don't have to operate at least 20% of the time. But just like if you can really, yeah, it was very, very stressful learning all these things. Everything was still handwritten. Everyone had different handwriting. You still had a credit card. And this is granted, this is 2020, right?
yeah.
You still have to take the credit card, buy over the phone, write down the numbers, go to the credit card machine, input the numbers. Oh, you realize there's one number wrong. You got to go call the customer again, ask for the right phone number, and at the same time, you have five people waiting in line to take their order or get their food. You got to go to the back to pack the food as well, and you're just anxiety, stress, pressure, and wow.
Hmm.
And not only that, the restaurant had been in operations for almost 25 years and nothing had been updated. The decor, everything. So
Yeah.
2020 happened. Me and my brother, we got down on our hands and knees. We removed the paper wall. We did all the flooring. We were absolutely blessed because what happened was there was a restaurant. I forget where in like Northbrook that was closing down, and the landlord already took possession back of the restaurant and all the equipment, and he was going to turn it into a medical center. And all the restaurant equipment was for free.
Wow.
Wow, nice.
All the restaurant
Nice.
equipment was for free because they don't just get it out of here. We don't know what to do with it. We don't want to
You're
resell it.
like, give it to me.
Yeah.
Me and my brother, like we've happened to find this off of Facebook, out of all places.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Facebook, come grab free restaurant equipment. We're like, no way, this can't be real.
Yeah.
We are there 3 o'clock in the morning, waiting outside for the contractor to open up the door at about 5 a.m. We are the first ones there with a trailer, a pickup, my car, and we get in there. We picked up two two prep tables that are coolers. Like we picked up two sushi cases, we picked up chairs, tables, and redid my mom's whole restaurant, just me and my brother, uh, and gave it new life. Gave it new life.
That's amazing.
And then from there it was about cleaning up everything. It's just think about a restaurant that's been in operation for 25 years and no one's doing any deep cleaning as well. So it's just like we're getting underneath the wok, the deep fryers, we're scraping off like grease that's been
Yeah,
like
you're doing all the
building up
things.
all this
Yeah.
manual labor to get this thing up and going because not only that, my mom's getting pressure from the health inspectors like, hey, we need to redo the whole walk-in cooler because it's
Yeah.
too old. We
Yeah.
need to we need to organize all the dry goods separate from the wet goods. Like, and my mom hadn't done any of this. Uh,
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
knew how to cook, work hard, cook good food,
And
and
live off the money that you're getting,
and
not
live off
putting
the money again.
necessarily putting money back into the business to ensure that some of these things are getting taken care of, right? It's just kind of like do your thing, live off the profits that you get,
Mhm.
right? And yeah, wow. And
And
so what was the time frame for how long did that take you guys to get that from starting to end to get the restaurant kind of up and running?
To revamp everything, it took us 6 months.
6 months, yeah. And how long after that to see the fruits of your labor? did you start seeing an improvement in business and um
About
revenue?
another year to see the business
Yeah.
thriving again.
Okay, that sounds, yeah, that's pretty right. That's
Yeah, because
sounds
we had a
accurate.
good customer base, but we've had customers leave because it's like it's just not the same.
It's not the same. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just not the
man.
same. So we had to revamp everything and get back out there, get customers back, and it was definitely a battle. It was definitely a
Yeah.
battle. At the same time, I'm still trying to do showings as a broker and,
Yeah.
and driving
Yeah.
DoorDash to make ends meet.
Yeah, you still gotta work, right? You still
Yeah.
gotta do your thing.
And it's just like that was the most amount of work I've ever done for like pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
It was to save mom's business because that was the only thing that was going to keep the light on or keep a baseline for us. Like me and my brother, we could still drive DoorDash, try to make little change here and there, right? Cover our bills. But um I had calculated 96 days of 12 to 18-hour days nonstop.
Wow. Yeah.
I
And
believe it.
and after that, like mom's not we telling mom don't pay us.
Well, yeah.
Don't pay us. We need to get the business up and running again.
Yeah.
And you ask anybody work for 96 days straight, 12-hour days for free.
It starts to wear at you for
How's
sure.
it wear at you? We got good food. That was the plus.
Yeah, yeah.
But that type of work and like just an hustle mentality. And but towards when things started to shift around, I'm like, okay, cool. This wasn't supposed to be like this. Like I can't keep going at this pace.
Right.
And I'm like, something has to change.
Yeah.
Something has to change. And that's when I saw a ad from Jamil for astro flipping.
Mhm.
And it was when he was doing his genie ads back in the day.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was doing the genies.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like, what is this? What is wholesaling? What is this? Like, I got my real estate license not to be a real estate broker. I got my real estate license because I didn't know how else to get into real estate. I
Right.
to invest. I wanted
Which
to
is
make
how most people think, right? That's, I
that.
mean, very normal. Yeah.
And from there, it still took me another 6 months to get my first wholesale deal done. Not
Mhm.
realizing the first wholesale deal that I did was a creative deal. It was a seller finance.
Mhm. Wow.
I worked it out with the seller, which was a family friend who had a two flat or FYI in Chicago, we don't call them duplexes, triplexes, or quadplexes. We call them two, three, or four flats.
Yeah.
And
So you knew the seller. You were friends with the seller?
friends with the seller, and then I'm trying to find a buyer. I'm like I'm still like not quite sure how to find a buyer, and
Did they sign like an exclusive option with you to sell it, or did you just get it under contract? You told your friend you were going to be the buyer, or you were going to be
it wasn't a true wholesale deal in the aspect that I get it under contract and assign my
got it.
rights.
Yeah,
What happened was I get a consulting fee.
got it. Yeah,
Yeah, I got a consulting fee, but to me, it was wholesaling. To me, it was just brokering deals off market.
right, right.
That was my thought. Brokering deals off market. Whatever way you need to get it done, get it done. And the buyer ended up being my like regular residential lender, the my regular lender for regular home buyers for residential. His mom happened to be a wholesaler who I call her my white mom. Great lady. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful woman. Um, she helped me get my first deal across the finish line off market. I made
Hmm.
5K on the deal, and I'm like, okay, this is real. Like you can do deals off market. You can solve problems that typically brokers don't come across or
Right.
avoid. So from there, it was like, okay, let's keep hunting, let's keep building. That's when I started doing the networking events here in Chicago, and I was just trying to find other people to network with and do deals with and build relationships. And that was 2021 into 2022. And
So that was
from
kind of was that kind of at that point like your aha moment, would you say?
No, I would say towards the end of 2022 was
20,
the aha moment, was because
okay.
I was still in survival mode. I was still hustling. I
Yeah.
was working at the restaurant all the time. I was trying to analyze all these deals, trying to figure out how to wholesale them, whatever. But I was still kind of stuck.
Yeah.
I was still kind of stuck. I was like, yeah, I'm like, what, why? Like, I know I don't have a work ethic problem. I know I can go out there and make things happen. Why aren't things happen? And that's when I needed more personal development. That's when I needed a shift in who I was. And
Yeah.
a lot of us that get started in this business sometimes don't even feel like they're worthy of more success.
Yeah.
It's
That's
it's
a big one.
it's a huge one.
Yeah.
Huge, right? We all have imposter syndrome starting off in this business.
Yep.
And it's just like, well, like even as wholesalers, right? They're just like, well, there's people that'll badmouth wholesaling because like you're not an investor because you're not the end buyer. But I'm like, hey, investing is about buying things low and selling things high. Either way, you're investing your time, you're investing your energy, whether it's your money or not. There's people trading stocks that's not their money and they're
Yeah.
called investors. So why can't you call yourself an investor?
I understand. Okay, like if you talk to your average real estate agent, which is what I was doing for a while there, real estate agents have a bad perception of wholesalers because let's be honest, there are a lot of people wholesaling that quite frankly have no business doing it.
100%. Yeah,
Um, and really what they're doing is locking deals up way too high, wasting everybody's time, or they're just straight up lying about what they're doing,
hmm
right? So there is a perception for a reason, right? That negative connotation around wholesaling is there for a reason, which it does. We don't need to get down this rabbit hole, but it does need to eventually get regulated on some level,
I
I
agree.
think. But at the same time, wholesalers bring in a massive value. If you're wholesaling the right way, like you should not be ashamed of it at all. You're doing a massive service for investors everywhere, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, I would argue if it weren't for wholesaling,
For homeowners too, a lot of
yeah, for
time,
homeowners
you
too,
know.
yeah, not just investors, but yeah, that's a good
I
point.
mean, we were approached by some wholesalers. I didn't like the price that they gave me for my house. I'm just like, no, I'm not that crazy. But
Yeah,
they tried, but there are some people that they do help, especially when you're willing to get creative. Now,
yeah.
when we were approached, it wasn't anything creative.
Mhm.
So it was just cash.
Yeah,
So we're just like, no, that's not going to work for us, but you know, maybe someone else.
definitely.
So, now it might have worked before, like 2008-ish, 9-ish, somewhere around there. We had to do bankruptcy too on
Mhm.
a house. So, um, and yeah, it took roughly like 10 years, right, to get your stuff all cleared up and everything. It's crazy. And at the time, we didn't know anything about wholesaling or trying to sell it ourselves off market or anything like that, because we probably could have saved ourselves going through all of that if
Oh
we
yeah.
would have known, or if somebody would have knocked on our door and gave us the idea, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Jamil talks about this too, like, if you're worrying about like telling someone you're a wholesaler, like you should not be ashamed of being a wholesaler.
No,
There
you
should be
shouldn't.
no reason that you are carrying that. And now there's a lot of people that, you know, have given it help to give it a kind of a bad name, but that doesn't have to be you, and you don't have to operate that way.
There
And
are bad realtors out there as
yeah,
well.
exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
But kind of leading as you were bringing up the turning point. I had went to the Clever Summit. This was end of 2022, summertime.
Mhm.
I was in a fork in the road, right? I thought like, man, I can't be in the restaurant business. This is I need to go and build my dreams. I need to go off and do my own thing. And
Mhm.
I remember it was Jamil, Pace Morby, Dan Fleshman, and Cody up on stage doing a panel.
Mhm.
And I'd asked the question, which was like, how do I leave my mom without feeling guilty? Because I'm at a point in my life where like I know just enough to go out there and actually really turn the heat up, but I feel like I'm still obligated, especially as an Asian son, to be there for my mom and dad. And and Dan actually got on the microphone and he said, well, when the air masks drop in an airplane, you got to put yours on first before you put anyone else's. I really didn't like the answer, but I got the message, right? I really needed to start taking care of myself.
Yeah.
And I wish he would have gave me a little bit more context. So it's because it still took me a little time to really kind of figure that out a little bit more.
Yeah.
And this is where I believe personal development and success habits, it's about developing you, right?
Yeah.
you get yourself to a point, not only just financially, but mentally, physically, emotionally,
Yeah,
spiritually, get yourself to that higher level, you're going to pour into the people around you as well.
yeah, that's a
And
really good point.
oh yeah. And from there, I already been on a journey of personal development, but I haven't really like dug deep into it. And that's from that point there, it was kind of that aha moment of like, you know what? What I ended up doing was I didn't leave my mom's business. I actually stepped it up another level. So I'm still working at the restaurant on the weekends. I'm still there to help mom. Granted, I'm not there as much as I was. I was there 7 days a week, but now I'm there maybe 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah, but you're doing higher value stuff there with them,
Doing
right?
higher value stuff. It was really stepping up into the person that I needed to be, not only for myself, but also for my family. And you can't do that without personal development.
Yeah,
I
100%.
agree. We talk about that a lot, about all the aspects. When you're coming into entrepreneurship, you think it's about making money and whatever. It's not just about making money. It's a
Oh,
whole
oh,
complete life makeover, you know.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
even Charlie Munger talks about this. This is you know who Charlie Munger is, right?
yes.
Uh, uh, what
I've never heard of them.
why do I always space on it? It's like the wealthiest investor like ever. I always forget his name. Um, I'm gonna space on it. People are gonna be like freaking out on me about this, but anyway, Charlie Munger is a very successful investor, businessman, and partners with Warren Buffett. That's what I was thinking of, Warren Buffett.
Mhm.
So, and he even talks about this. If it's just the money, that's not going to be enough because entrepreneurship is so difficult. The amount that you have to put in, the amount of work and perseverance that you need to have in order to be successful as an entrepreneur in this world, just the money part is not going to be enough to carry you through the amount that you need to do.
100%.
And I mean, that's a lesson I had to learn early on, quite frankly. But it's yeah. So you need to the mindset. That's why there's like a billion different folks talking about mindset because it's literally probably the most important thing if you want to be successful. Forget a freaking CRM, forget a product or a service. If you don't have that part down, like you're not gonna do the work needed to
100%. I
get
always tell
across the
people
table.
like they keep asking me, what's the best cold calling service? Uh what's the best dialer? What's the best list? So it's like the best one is the one you use. It's the one
Yeah.
that you got. It's the one that you put to work. Like that right there is the best one that you have. Stop looking for something outside of you and
Yeah.
start searching within because you have the ability to rise up to that next level. Right. And everyone talks mindset. So to me, I actually don't even just call it just mindset. I also call it getting heart set, which is actually my program, which is core, which is creators of reality. Core also being short for, not short, it is Latin for heart,
Oh, interesting. Okay.
right? Because a lot of us might have a pretty decent mindset, but we're not stepping up to the person that we need to be. And that's our identity. That's the person that we associate with ourselves, right? It's not just our values and beliefs, but it's the essence of who you believe you are.
Hmm.
And one of the strongest factors in the human decision-making process is our need to stay consistent with who we believe we are. So if you don't believe that you can achieve greatness, you're not going to make decisions that align with that vision. So it's just like it's not just mindset, it's also about getting heart set of who you want to be in this life. And to me, it's about having that courage to let yourself out. There's a deeper version of us. Every single one of us has a deeper version, right? Who we are, no pun intended, at our core, right? Which is also the root word for courage. Courage being in its earliest forms was to speak one's mind by telling all one's heart. Courage is not only about doing things in the face of fear, courage was about being authentically you.
Yeah, that's a
unapologetically you speaking your truth, you speaking your heart, you speaking your mind.
yeah.
And that's the program that I offer is because a lot of us keep thinking it's the next strategy. What's the best strategy? What's the next, right? Is it co-living? Is it RV parks? Is it mobile home parks? Is wholesaling dying? Is creative going to work? Is it going to be pre-foreclosures? Is it, guess what? All of them work.
Hmm.
All of them still work. There's people making money in every single strategy.
Yeah.
So stop focusing on the strategy and start focusing on you and getting yourself to that next level.
Yeah.
Next
There
level
was
of
some
who you are.
there's a quote, I forget who talked about it, but it's like it's literally as simple as this. Like you got imposter syndrome, stop being an imposter. But
Yeah.
obviously there's more to it than just that. But that's a quick way of saying that. And also what you do in private. Like if you're if you're telling people you go to the gym and you work out, you're telling people you do this and do that, but you're not actually doing it, or you're not doing it as much as you're telling people you're doing it,
Mhm.
you secretly know that that's not fully the truth. And so that's where you get that sort of
Oh yeah, you are out of
feedback.
alignment. You're not
Yeah,
congruent with
you're out of
yourself.
alignment. Yeah.
And every time you break a promise to yourself,
Yeah.
right, you are eroding the trust that you have with yourself. So this literally erodes your confidence to be even more successful.
Hmm.
So yes, congruence, right? Speaking not only what you think, say, and do, right? But it's making sure all of that is in alignment with who you believe you are.
Hmm. Hmm.
Oh yeah, 100%, right? Like everything that you speak, our words have so much weight and meaning, but we don't think about it. Our
Our
words,
thoughts, we don't realize what we're thinking and telling ourselves, even if we don't spit it out,
oh yeah.
right? It's still going on in our heads, you know? Like I was thinking about things earlier. There's hardly a day that I wake up and I don't feel some kind of ache and pain, right?
Hmm.
And I catch myself saying, "Man, I don't feel well." Not out loud necessarily, but in my head, like, I feel crappy or whatever. And I'm like,
Oh yeah.
stop telling yourself that, you know,
Oh
like
yeah.
just stop thinking that way. You know, it's like switch it around. And
So,
like this tells me I'm alive, right? So,
100%. I'm so glad you brought that up because like it's tough to turn off the thoughts.
right.
It's tough to turn off the thoughts. So it's not about turning off the thoughts, it's about changing your thoughts.
Yeah.
Right? Asking yourself a different question. And I teach this all the time now, which is most of us wake up and are like, what do I need to do? Because we have a big old to-do list. We are completely overwhelmed. Instead of asking yourself, what do I need to do? I want you to ask yourself, what is the outcome that you're looking to achieve?
Right.
This that you focus on the end in mind, the things that you're truly looking to make, because there's going to be plenty of distractions that hit your inbox, right? Your inbox is nothing more than a to-do list of what other people want you to do. So what I teach is my OWN framework, right? How to own the day, own your time, own your conversation. O standing for the outcome. What is the outcome that you're looking to achieve? Why is it important to you? And then what are your next steps?
And you start with outcome, right? So like if I jump into your mentorship right now, I'm brand new. What does that look like? Is that will we kind of sit down and go over the O part first? Is that what
I
we cover
teach
first?
three different frameworks, one for the day, one for the week, and one to design your life and not react to it,
Hmm.
right?
Interesting.
We need different tools, right? To have one tool for everything doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
But the OWN framework, right? That's a simple framework that I use to change my focus in the moment.
Okay.
Right now, when I want to plan for the week, I call it my power framework, which is to prioritize, right? It's to list out all your to-dos and then learn how to prioritize. O stands for OWN again, right? Taking the OWN framework, what is the one to three things that you need to take ownership for this week that's going
Mhm.
to move the needle forward? What is the outcome that you're looking to achieve? Is it to finally organize your CRM? Is it to finally send out that offer? Is it to follow up with all those people that you've been dreading to follow up with, right? Figuring out exactly what is that outcome, why it's important, and then the next steps, right? Most of us don't think about what you need to do, think about what is the outcome. This
Right.
gets you to think differently rather than when you're asking yourself what to do, you're reacting to what you have to do. When you're asking yourself, what is the outcome that I'm looking to achieve, I have to be proactive in my thoughts. So
That makes
what
sense.
I teach is to get out of survival mode, which is reaction. You're
Yeah.
reacting. To get out of survival mode, you have to get into creation mode, which
Yeah.
is to be proactive. If you want to truly get out of that survival mindset, if you want to truly build a business, you have to design your life. You cannot just work, 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 just like my parents, like many of our parents, work, work, work without designing the actual life that you want. So my coaching program is about getting you to actually have the end in mind and start designing your day, designing your week, and designing your life. So that's the OWN framework for daily focus, power framework, which is P, prioritize, O for own, W is to write out your deadline, E is to execute, R is to reward yourself. As entrepreneurs, we all work so hard, and sometimes we don't even celebrate the small wins. We keep waiting for big wins, but you got to celebrate, right? It's not only about achieving more things, it's about feeling fulfilled. Have
Yeah.
some fun in the process.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
people get
I
caught up in
agree.
that a
Oh
lot.
yeah.
People get caught up in there's still a rat race. You hear about people talking about the rat race. Like work, you spend your time to earn money to pay off debts for things that you bought that you didn't need. Like that's the rat race, right?
You to
That's
buy things that nobody cares
that,
about.
that nobody cares about. But
Or
there's
most,
also a rat race inside of entrepreneurship too, right?
oh
There's
yeah,
the hamster wheel inside of entrepreneurship too that you can get on.
There's
100%.
many hamster wheels you
There
can
are,
get
yeah,
on for
there are
many things.
for sure. Yeah, but I like the fact that you bring that up because people they don't take the time to celebrate. So they're constantly looking forward to that huge win, and it's like that huge win. What if that huge win is a combination of a bunch of small wins? You know what I mean?
I always say small wins lead to big victories.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like by the but you get to that point. By the time you get to that point, if you haven't celebrated, you haven't enjoyed it. Yeah, I would say the other thing is too, if you're not enjoying it, if you're not taking time to celebrate and enjoy it, a lot of times you're making decisions out of fear, maybe a little
Yeah.
bit, as
No.
opposed to like
100%.
creativity and what you were describing.
And you
A lot
burn
of people,
yourself out too.
yeah, you'll burn yourself for sure, burn yourself out. Um,
Because what if you
so
don't land the big deal?
right, what now,
What
right?
now?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and then you start to identify with that. You land a big deal, or you start to tie your identity to that with those wins, and that's a dangerous place to be in too. Um, you talked about Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Hmm.
They even talk about this, and I think it's either chapter one or chapter two, but they talk about this. It's like people oftentimes, the majority of people make their decisions based on fear as opposed to making it based on um, creativity, drive, passion. They may, and so when you're making especially business decisions, when you're making those business decisions out of
Hmm.
fear, it's like you should probably take a step back because those decisions you're going to make are probably not going to align very well with
Oh,
what you're trying to
100%.
do.
100%. Which
Yeah.
leads me to my third framework, what I teach is the creator framework. These
Mm-hmm.
are what C standing for clarity. Hands down, the number one thing we all need to do is sit down and get clear about what you truly want. It's not money. We know it's not money. More money is always welcomed, but we know it's not more money. It's the things that money can afford us to, right? So what is that thing, right? Clarity, R stands for rhythm, right? I am a big anti-hustle guy, right? I believe in working hard, persevering, having self-discipline, but to me, F hustle culture, to me it's about finding rhythm and flow. It's about momentum. It's not about burning yourself to bear nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Finding rhythm and flow because like you got to enjoy this process. This is going to be the majority of your life. It's right. We all know it's about the journey, not the destination. So start enjoying the journey right now.
Mm-hmm.
Stop waiting
Yeah.
for the destination. E is for energy, right? Energy is the currency of execution. If you don't have the right energy, you're not going to execute.
I'm not gonna do it. Yep.
A is alignment. A is alignment, which I say is for power. C for direction, clarity for direction, rhythm for momentum, energy for execution. A is for power. Because every time you keep those little promises to yourself, the amount of confidence that you obtain, the amount of self-discipline and the self-esteem is just you begin to trust yourself no matter what.
Yep.
Even when you know you have no clue how to figure something out or you don't have a clear path, you have that confidence within yourself to figure it out
Yeah.
because you know you're going to step up to the plate when it matters the most.
Yeah, and
Keep
that's for little things too. We're talking about even the most mundane things that you wouldn't even consider.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
I'm not, I can have a cookie. I can have that cookie even though I
I'm
just
not going to hit next episode on Netflix.
yeah, right. Exactly. Even though I know I got all this
Yeah.
work I got to do, I can watch a few Netflix episodes. Like that kind of shit adds up. Like even today, like I had to go just run some errands. We had the show at 4 o'clock.
Mhm.
And I could have easily said, I'm gonna skip my workout because I got too much going on, and I don't want to be late for the show. But I hustled my butt off, and even though it wasn't as long of a workout as I would have liked, I still got it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the
Consistency
kind of
over
shit.
intensity, baby.
Yeah,
Consistency over intensity.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's you got to do it.
It's
You got to do
amazing what being consistent can do, though.
oh,
Like you just said, consistency over what did
intensity.
you say? Intensity.
it. Mhm.
When you really think about that, showing up for yourself daily to work out, whether it's something intense or something a little less intense, as long as you're showing up every day, you're showing yourself,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
we could do this, right?
Mhm.
100%.
And yeah, as
Yeah.
I've been pushing myself because sometimes it's hard to want to work out, even though I don't do anything super intense. It's sometimes a chore,
Yeah.
Mhm.
feels like a chore, like, oh man, I don't feel like working out.
Yeah.
And then
That's usually the best time to go work out, believe it or
Oh
not.
yeah.
I'm like, nope, just even if it's 5 minutes, go do something,
Go do it.
right?
Yeah, you're gonna feel better too. You're gonna
Yeah, right.
feel
You feel
better.
better after you do the
Yeah.
movement,
I
right?
usually do. I usually do end up feeling better after I do some type of small workout. That's why I do it. I'm like, you probably just feel like this right now because you haven't moved enough, right?
Oh yeah.
So
No,
get
100%.
yeah. So I mean, there's days I have to push myself, but I do, and that I think consistency has helped me in being consistent other places. You know, um,
I'm a big believer of how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah, 100%.
yeah.
Actually, I got a question for you. So I brought this up on the last show. I'll bring it up again. But you hear a lot about discipline, discipline, discipline.
Hmm.
A lot of people talking about discipline. You got Jocko, you got David Goggins, you got all these guys talking about discipline. And I forget who it was. Um, I'll have to go find out, but it stuck with me. It resonated. It's like discipline. You only need a shot of discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline isn't something that you need constantly. You just need a little bit of discipline to get the habit started. Once you got the habit started, you don't need the discipline, right?
Hmm.
The discipline's
Hmm.
there. So you take your shot of discipline to get yourself going with the habit once that's built up. What are your thoughts around discipline? Like, how do you feel about that?
That was the thing. Like I grew up doing martial arts, and literally on the wall it said House of Discipline.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I always thought discipline had to be like kind of balls to the wall. Like you gotta burn out every single day. You gotta leave everything on the mat every single day.
Mhm.
And I don't think that's sustainable. In fact, I'm more than 100% confident it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Discipline is again showing up on the days that you don't feel like it.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean you have to go all out.
Right.
Just just get the rep in. Do the walk.
Yeah.
Just get on the treadmill and just start walking.
Yeah.
Right? As
I mean,
simple
that
as
was mine today. Like I didn't get my 35 minutes workout and it was what, like 20 minutes. So, oh well, you
Oh,
know?
yeah. But again, like discipline is really that muscle, like
Mhm.
taking small hits of discipline, right? Small wins lead to big victories. It's about creating those small little habits where it becomes that much more easier to execute. That's what it really is. That's why the consistency over intensity, progress over perfection, small wins over big wins. It's just like the little things matter the most. They really do because those things are what add up over time. Those, like, you can't get, I don't care who you are, you're not getting six-pack abs in one day if you could do a 10,000 sit-ups. You're
No,
just,
Yeah,
no.
you're just not.
right.
But if you did 10,000 sit-ups over a course of maybe 30, 60, 90 days,
Mhm.
right? You're gonna show a little bit. You're gonna
Yeah,
like, oh, right, I see some definition, right?
yeah,
Um, and that's the thing I think with most of us is that we're not patient with ourselves. We're really looking for that quick win. And hey, I'm all for having a quick win, but the real win is when you're patient. The real win is when you're showing up on the days you don't feel like it. The real win
yeah,
is those small little decisions that you make, right? I was saying like it's about those micro decisions. Those micro decisions add up because they really compound over time. They really do.
I
yeah.
agree. Nice. I know we're getting close to the end here.
Yes.
So is there anything else, Justin, that we want to specifically ask to wrap it up?
No,
Or
I really like I really like what you got going on. And what's the name of your mentorship? Let's make sure we plug that
The
here.
core, which is
Core
creators of reality.
yeah,
creators.
make
Oh, that's
sure
right.
we
Okay.
have that information so we
Yeah.
can add it to the episode notes and everything.
Yeah, we will. Well, I'll definitely make sure that that's included
Oh yeah.
in the notes. And so yeah, I think this is all, extremely important, and I'm glad you came on here, Jeffrey, to talk about it. And I think, more people need to hear this stuff, but also need to take the action and really start putting it into practice. And some people need that push, right? Need a mentor like yourself or need a coach like yourself to give them that extra push. Because have you found any shortcut in business? Any easy button in business yet?
Having a mentor or a coach.
Okay.
It really is.
Someone who has been through it and
Like
has
like
run.
I when I started seeking mentorship and coaching,
Mhm.
that's when my business started to excel because I wasn't just doing it by myself. Like
Right,
I had someone actually in my corner. Like I have family and friends that all support me, but they're in the stands.
right.
You need someone in your corner that's going to be like, hey, you need to move to the right. You need to move forward this way. Hey, you said you were going to do this. I'm really counting on you to keep your word to yourself. You got to pick it up. And it it you think about every great athlete ever out there.
Yeah,
They didn't do it by themselves. You think
right,
of every great company out there. They
right.
didn't do it by themselves. So
Yeah,
why are you doing it by yourself?
yeah.
I agree.
That's a really
I
good point.
agree. That's
That's
a
a great.
great way to end it,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
yeah, I think so. Jeffrey, thank you again for being here. I'd love to have you back on again, see where you're at in a little while and heck, I might even join your mentorship. Uh, but yeah, guys, we'll have all the description and everything, links to Jeffrey's mentorship in the description and how you can get
In
a hold.
other ways, yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
he
Wonderful.
still does real estate. We didn't talk much about that.
well,
We
that's
didn't
the other
talk,
thing.
yeah. That
Uh,
was real estate, but like just keep in mind I'm still doing real estate. I'm a realtor. I'm wholesaling. I'm fixing
yeah,
and flipping. At a point where I thought $100 was a lot of money to go to a 3-day event.
yeah,
Like if there's
yeah.
one thing
Yeah,
that I want to instill is just like just never quit. Just never give up.
never give up. Yeah, I'm gonna
Never.
leave it at that. That's a great one. So, we will have you back on. I'd love to have you come back on and talk about your real estate stuff too. So,
Yeah.
we're gonna need to do this again. But yeah, we are towards the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being back on here with us and watching and joining us. And we're gonna have more to come. So for Justin and Pansy and Jeff, this is the Friends with Benefits podcast. Thanks for being here. And I'm gonna say see you later. Peace.
Thank you.
See you guys.